Good evening, everyone. We'll start because we have to complete this entire portion now. So, till 75, like I told you all, it is pertaining to the major part of the Contract Act 1872, which I have even repeatedly told you all that you all must remember each and every section from 1 to 75. Go through each and every illustrations in your commentaries. Wherever the case laws are given, just go through them once, right? Now the next chapter, sales of goods, is also included in your prelim, right? But there is a separate Bear Act for that, and partnership is also included, and there is a separate Bear Act for that also, right? So now इसमें जो next portions है, one is indemnity and one is guarantee, then is bailment and then is agency. In this, please mark section number 124. They have defined what is indemnity. So, a contract by which one party promises to save the other from loss which is caused to him by the conduct of the promiser himself or by the conduct of any other person, it is called a contract of indemnity. खुद के या थर्ड पार्टी की वजह से कोई भी डैमेज किसी पार्टी को होता है, right, due to the conduct, then that particular person promises कि he will make good for the loss, indemnify basically, right? So see the illustration. A, who is a promiser, contracts to indemnify B, who is an indemnity holder, against the consequences of any proceedings which C, that is third party, may take against B in respect of a certain sum of 200 rupees. This is a contract of indemnity, right? So they have given certain rights of indemnity holder, that the indemnity holder जो भी होता है, he is he is entitled to recover from the promisor all damages, all the costs, right? ये एक बार आप देख लीजिएगा, all the sums which he has paid, right, under the terms of any kind of compromise वगैरह. So just go through this. Important is 127, right? Is there a consideration for guarantee? Anything done or any kind of promise made for the benefit of the principal debtor may be a sufficient consideration to the surety for giving the guarantee, right? Then what is the surety's liability? It is co-extensive. Direct question for prelim. It is co-extensive, means at par with that of the principal debtor. Important again, 129. What is continuing guarantee? Continuing guarantee means it extends to a series of transactions, right? Acha. So see, 124 and 125 is with respect to indemnity, only two sections, right? और गारंटी जो है वो सारा का सारा 126 से स्टार्ट होता है, जिसमें आपको 126, 127, 128, 129 पता होने चाहिए. 126 में उन्होंने डिफाइन किया है व्हाट इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ गारंटी, व्हाट इज मेंट बाय श्योरिटी, व्हाट इज मेंट बाय अ प्रिंसिपल डेटर एंड व्हाट इज मेंट बाय अ क्रेडिटर. So what is meant by a contract of guarantee? Contract of guarantee is a contract to perform the promise or to discharge the liability of a third person in case of his default. आप लॉजिक ही लगाए ना, अगर ये बंदा डिफॉल्ट करेगा तो मैं गारंटी देता हूं कि भाई इसके बदले में मैं कर दूंगा. सो दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ गारंटी. नाउ द पर्सन हु गिव्स द गारंटी is called the surety, obviously, and the person in respect of whose default the guarantee is given, he is called the principal debtor. मैंने काजल के लिए श्योरिटी दी है, राइट? तो यहाँ पे आई एम द श्योरिटी एंड काजल इज द प्रिंसिपल डेटर, एंड द पर्सन टू whom guarantee is given, उसको हम कहते हैं creditor, right? Important for prelim. Can a guarantee only be oral? No. A guarantee may be either oral or it can be either written. So this comes as a prelim question. So please go through these sections: 124, 125, 126, 127, 128. Surety's liability, it is co-extensive with that of the principal debtor. Co-extensive means at par, same. Okay. 129, continuing guarantee, it means it extends to a series of transactions. See, A, in consideration that B will employ C in collecting the rents of B's zamindari, promises B to be responsible to the amount of 5,000 rupees for the due collection and payment by C of those rents. This is a continuing guarantee. It means till 5,000 rupees, he is kind of giving a guarantee for whom? C. Now, these are other things which have come into picture in this particular chapter, means of indemnity and guarantee, that is revocation of continuing guarantee. किस तरीके से revoke कर सकते हैं? So ये कह रहे कि at any time with respect to future transaction just by giving a notice. So you can revoke by giving a notice. Then revocation of continuing guarantee obviously by the surety's death, right? Means surety की death हो गई तो भी आप revoke हो सकता है. Right, so these all sections जो अब आपके है 132 1 ये सारे not that important, don't go, means you can skip them, right? If you wish you can just go through it once, but it's okay. आप वो आगे 124 125 126 127 128 129 एक बार अच्छे से देख लोगे sufficient रहेगा. You do not have time, but एक बार अपनी आंखें सिर्फ ऐसे ही घुमा लेना. आप अपनी तरीके से आप सोचिए. Firstly, what you must basically bear in mind is what is the meaning of indemnity and what is the meaning of guarantee. If you understand the meaning of these two terms, any question which will come into prelims, right, you will be able to answer. Guarantee देना means किसी के लिए एक तरीके का, you are giving a kind of an assurance. So you are standing as a surety for the principal debtor. If the principal debtor defaults in doing something, the surety will come into the picture and he will perform his part. Indemnity means to do the good for the loss caused. Why? Due to the conduct of the person himself or of the third party. कोई conduct की वजह से किसी को नुकसान पहुंचा है. So we will do good for that. Means we will return it in some way or the other. So if you understand these two concepts, it is more than sufficient. Indemnity and guarantee, right? You can skip all this part. Come to bailment. इसमें इन्होंने कुछ को-श्योरिटीज के बारे में भी बात करा है. अब को-श्योरिटीज का मतलब क्या है? एक से ज्यादा श्योरिटी. See, it is if you just see section number 147, I'm just picking up one section randomly, जो कि क्योंकि वो ऊपर ही दिखा bailment के ऊपर. Liability of co-sureties bound in different sums. बहुत सारे sureties है, A, B, C, D, right? Co-sureties who are bound in different sums are liable to pay equally as far as the limits of their respective obligations permit. जितने सम तक वो liable है उतना ही वो भरेंगे. A, B and C as sureties for D enter into 3 several bonds, each in a different penalty, namely A in the penalty of 10,000 rupees, B in that of 20,000 rupees, C in that of 40,000 rupees. Condition for D is duly accounting to E. D defaults to the extent of 30,000 rupees. Okay. Now, इसमें कितना उन लोग भरेंगे सबके सब? They will pay equally, right? So A and B and C are liable to pay 10,000 rupees now. You will go through every other illustration, you will understand much more better. A, B and C are sureties for D, enter into 3 several bonds in different penalty, namely A in the penalty of 10, B in the penalty of 20 and C in the penalty of 40. Condition for D is duly accounting to E. D defaults to the extent of 40,000 rupees. Okay, so इसमें A is liable to pay to the amount of 10,000 rupees and B फिर उनको equally divide कर दिए जाएंगे. राइट right? क्योंकि A is only A कितने तक दे सकता है? सिर्फ 10,000 तक. राइट, सो यू विल सी, यू विल गो थ्रू द इलस्ट्रेशंस, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. को-श्योरिटी इज लायबल टू कंट्रीब्यूट, को-श्योरिटी इज लायबल टू कंट्रीब्यूट इक्वली, तो इक्वल अमाउंट में वो कंट्रीब्यूशन करेंगे. दैट इज व्हाट दे आर सेइंग in section number 146. Just go through the sections once. You don't need to go too much in depth. What is the meaning of bailment? Okay, bailment means one section number 148. इसमें इन्होंने define किया है what is bailment, what is a bailer and who is a bailee. Means who is a bailer, who is a bailee, and what is the meaning of bailment. They have made this section with respect to this definition. They have clearly defined it. So what is bailment? It is the delivery of goods by one person to another person for some purpose. Means delivery of goods means it is means आप directly वो बंदे को goods पहुंचा रहे हो, right, for some particular purpose upon a contract, right, that they shall, when the purpose is accomplished, राइट? जब पर्पस खत्म हो जाएगा वो रिटर्न कर देंगे या अदरवाइज डिस्पोज ऑफ कर देंगे अकॉर्डिंग टू द डायरेक्शंस ऑफ द पर्सन हु इज डिलीवरिंग देम, मींस हु इज गिविंग देम. The person who is delivering the goods, he is called the bailer, and the person to whom they are delivered is called the bailee. Right? Explanation: if a person is already in possession of the goods of the other, contracts to hold them as a bailee, right? He thereby becomes the bailee, and the owner becomes the bailer of such goods, although they may not have been delivered by way of bailment. Okay, so just go through means यहाँ पे bailment is क्या है? First and foremost, please write down few important points. There is no transfer of ownership. Secondly, just the possession is transferred. Thirdly, it is with respect to movables. And fourthly, ownership is in one person and possession is in the another person. Okay? अच्छा, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऑफ इंश्योरेंस जो होते हैं दे आर इंडेमनिटी, बट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऑफ लाइफ इंश्योरेंस जो होते हैं दे आर नॉट स्ट्रिक्टली इंडेमनिटी, cause you cannot make good for the loss of a death. You can just give some kind of monetary compensation, but you cannot get back the person, right? So remember these 2 points. And bailment is a kind of a contract only, which you are delivering goods, but those goods are what? Movables. यहाँ पे आप सिर्फ पोजेशन ट्रांसफर कर रहे हो, आप ओनरशिप ट्रांसफर नहीं करते हो, राइट? सो नाउ section number 148, which talks about definition, you will go through that. And these other things, they generally come from the perspective of means. What are the duties of a bailer? What are the duties of a bailee? What are the rights of a bailer? What are the rights of a bailee? What are the liabilities? ये सारे के सारे questions आते हैं bailment को लेके, right? So I'm not going to go into depth of all these things जो आगे के sections है, right? आपको पता होना चाहिए कि what is the meaning of bailment basically. Okay, if you understand the meaning of bailment, it is more than sufficient. आप इसके थ्रू अपने आंसर दे पाओगे. इसमें फिर इन्होंने प्लेज, पॉनर एंड पॉनी भी डिफाइन किया है. प्लेज में क्या है? इट इज ऑल्सो काइंड ऑफ बेलमेंट ऑफ गुड्स ओनली एज अ सिक्योरिटी फॉर पेमेंट ऑफ अ डेट. बोलते हैं ना हम ये प्लेज करते हैं, मैं गोल्ड प्लेज करता हूँ, राइट? मीन्स देता हूँ, राइट? So you are giving that. So it's a kind of a security for payment of debt or for a performance of a promise, that is known as pledge. And the bailer in this case is called the pawner, and the bailee in this case is known as a pawnee. Right? Goods are pledged as a security basically. So just remember what is the meaning of pledge. So you are giving goods. आप वहाँ पे goods जाके दे रहे हो, right? Why you are giving that? So that what we say, a kind of security be is given for any kind of benefit, or like you have taken a debt or you have to perform a kind of a promise. So you go and give a security so that you know you will return it in that case. So just go through what is pledge, what is bailment, what is indemnity, what is guarantee. Agency में भी इतना कुछ है नहीं. I'm going to end this class very soon because there is not much in it. Just in the end, I will just take 5 minutes after agency, and I'll just through the index, I will just make you all mark important parts. Agency में उन्होंने agent और principal define किया है. You must know that an agent is a person who is employed to do any act for another person or to represent another person in dealing with a third person. Very common sense वाला definition है ये. And the person for whom such an act is done or for whom he is so represented, he is called as the principal. So just remember what is the meaning of agent and what is the meaning of principal. Who may employ an agent? Any person, remember this, who is of the age of majority according to the law to which he is subject, and who is of a sound mind may employ an agent, right? So it means guardian of a minor can also appoint an agent on behalf of him, right? Is consideration necessary? Again for prelim, No consideration is necessary to create an agency. एजेंसी की अथॉरिटी एक्सप्रेस ही सिर्फ हो सकती है कि सिर्फ इम्प्लाइड हो सकती है? नो, इट कैन बी ईदर एक्सप्रेस्ड और इट कैन बी ईदर इम्प्लाइड. नाउ हु मे बी एन एजेंट, that is important. As between the principal and the third person, any person may become an agent, but no person who is not of the age of majority and who is not of the sound mind can become an agent so as to be responsible to his principal according to the provisions in that behalf herein contained. Now, they have defined what is the meaning of expressed authority, what is the meaning of implied authority. Implied is obviously by conduct, and expressed is by words and words spoken or written part. Right? Now, what is the extent of agent's authority? कहाँ तक उसकी authority extend करती है principal के लिए? It extends to do everything lawful on behalf of the principal. Right? So these all things, now what I'm saying, uh, uh, you must also know just till here, till section number 188 properly. Afterwards, all those sections, they all start becoming like, how can the authority of an agent be revoked? Means termination of agency क्या क्या तरीके से हो सकती है? First and foremost, an agency is terminated by the principal revoking his authority or by the agent renouncing. वो खुद renounce कर सकता है business of agency, or by the business of agency being completed, means business ही complete हो गया, or by either the principal or agent dying or becoming of unsound mind, or by the principal being adjudicated as insolvent under the provisions of any act for the time being in force for the relief of the insolvent debtors. So just remember this, section number 201, how is an agency terminated? So these are the ways an agency can be terminated. Rest, I'm not going to get into depth. We will do that during the mains, because यहाँ पे agents duties है, principals duties है, agents rights है, principal के rights है, उनकी duties and rights वगैरह. That we'll do it for mains. But for prelim, how much you are supposed to understand by the concepts of bailment, agency, and guarantee and indemnity is more than sufficient. If you all have means, this is something which happens in day-to-day life, right? People hire agents, then so many activities generally keep happening as bailment, right? And even as an guarantee takes place, pledging takes place, indemnity keeps happening, right? You are indemnifying for the losses caused. So these all things are happening in day-to-day life. So if you understand it as a normal thing, that it's a normal course of life, these concepts, if you understand it from that perspective, you will totally be able to answer any question which comes with respect to agency, bailment, pledge, a guarantee, and indemnity. You can answer any question. Now just go to your contents, means index. आप सेक्शन नंबर 2 इंटरप्रिटेशन क्लॉज आपको बहुत अच्छे से, जैसे कि 2A, 2B, 2C, मीन्स आपको ऐसे याद रखना है, right? So section number 2, very very important. Then section 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19A, 20, 21, यही सारा CUFMM वाला आपको याद रखना है. कौन से agreements void होते हैं, which restrain marriage, which restrain trade, then which restrain legal proceedings, right? Then agreements for avoid due to uncertainty by way of wagering. So you must know what are contingent contracts, right? Know this 31 to 36. उसके बाद आप directly आप इस section number 25 मैंने आपको बोला था, आपको अच्छे से पता होना चाहिए, right? फिर उसके अलावा आप ये अच्छे से कर लेना. एक section है, section number 56, agreements to do an impossible act, doctrine of frustration, it is void. Section number 56 आपको अच्छे से पता होना चाहिए. And then entirely quasi contracts, section 68 to 72, know them well enough. And section number remedies, what the consequences for the breach of contract, what are the remedies. यहाँ पे उन्होंने 73, 74, 75 में उन्होंने compensation और penalty और stipulation की बात की है, तो go through that well, right? Besides that, means I am तो telling you that 1 to 75 आपको तो बहुत अच्छे से करना है, पूरा का पूरा properly. ओके, बट ये जो मैंने एटलीस्ट आपको सेक्शंस बोली है उतनी आप अच्छे से कर लीजिएगा प्रॉपर. मीन्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट में it's not very difficult also. Contract act, you will be able to handle it. Trust me on this, you can aram se handle this act. It's very simple. Just look at it as a normal course of life, that things are being contracted in our day to day lives. And what happens if a contract goes flop, or if it is, how can it become void, how can an agreement not become a contract. मीन्स इन टोटो ओनली स्टार्टिंग से ही अग्रीमेंट वॉइड है तो वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो बनेगा ही नहीं, राइट. सो जस्ट गो थ्रू दिस वॉइडेबिलिटी एट द ऑप्शन ऑफ वन पार्टी. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होता है, राइट. आई इवन टोल्ड यू an agreement can be valid or void, but a contract can be valid, void, as well as voidable, right? Illustrations, yes, I'm again telling you all, we do not have much time, so we have not got the time basically to go into the depth of every illustration. कुछ कुछ मैंने तो ऐसे ही आपके साथ डिस्कस कर लिए थे, ओके. बट इट्स नॉट दैट आई एम नोवेयर टेलिंग यू दैट यू डोंट हैव टू रीड द इलस्ट्रेशंस आप एक बार देख लीजिएगा. If you have access to the question papers, in the last two papers I haven't seen any question from illustrations, but I've heard that questions do come from illustrations. And I say illustrations to understand, so that you can understand the concept, like contingent contract क्या है, quasi contracts क्या है, agency क्या है, right, bailment क्या है. वो आपको अच्छे से, आप अगर illustrations पढ़ोगे तो आपको automatically वो concept आ जाएगा. और फिर देखो कोई कोई जगह पे, वो जैसे सेक्शन नंबर 75 है, उसमें A to R तक इलस्ट्रेशंस है. अब कोई कोई इलस्ट्रेशन शायद आपको समझ नहीं आएंगे, तो आप वही इलस्ट्रेशन को लेके मत बैठ जाना, आप वहां से स्किप करके दूसरा इलस्ट्रेशन पढ़ लेना. आपको ऑटोमेटिकली वो कॉन्सेप्ट क्या कहना चाहते हैं वो आपको पता चल जाएगा. ओके, सो just go through this. Not 75, sorry, I think so 73, सेक्शन नंबर 73 में बहुत सारे इलस्ट्रेशन है, ए से लेके आर तक है शायद, राइट, जहाँ पे उन्होंने कंपनसेशन की बात करी है, राइट. सो जस्ट गो थ्रू every illustration. If you'll go through the illustration, you will understand every concept. Hopefully I'll take a class tomorrow also. Maybe I'll take partnership or something. I'll communicate with Niyati. If I don't take it tomorrow, then I'll directly take it on Monday. So whatever it is, I'll communicate with you all. जितना मैंने आपको कराया है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में भी, या उसके अलावा भी हमने माइनर एक्ट्स की थी पहले, फिर आपके साथ मैंने CPC भी किया. I hope you guys are going through it, because now time is very less. It's already the 21st today. So I hope you all are studying well, right? So maybe I'll try and see you all tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then directly on Monday. We'll stop the class here only.